But I got to tell you, if you are not doing webinars, you are missing the boat, period. I gave out the feedback for the Protege Challenge on the digital strategy, and across the board, the number one thing that I gave feedback on to every single contestant, some of y'all are hiding out in here, by the way, but I see you. The number one thing I was looking for, one of the number one things I was looking for was the use of webinars. Webinars are an awesome tool for every single one of us. Here's why. You can have a webinar live, record it, and now it lives forever. You can take the recorded version of that webinar and you can put it behind a sign-up page where you can get the information of the person who wants to watch it, and then that dumps into your CRM. Now I got you. They can watch that webinar on demand when it's convenient for them. In fact, many times, because of some of the ones that I have on my website right now, people come back 2 and 3 times and they watch 15, 20 minutes instead of an hour at a pop. But I'm measuring every bit of that. The other thing that I can do is I can take that webinar and send it over to my son to do video editing, and he can create snippets from that. He can create 2 to 3 minute snippets. What am I going to do with the snippets? Well, the snippets are going to give you something that is going to entice you to want to watch the entire thing. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go in, I'm going to schedule it in Lately. I'm going to put the link to the webinar landing page in Lately, and then I'm going to push it out to all of my social at one time. And I'm going to sprinkle it out over the course of 2, 3, 4 months. You know, I'm not going to push this thing out multiple times a day, multiple times a week, whatever else. I'm just going to sprinkle it out over a longer period of time, trying to drive traffic there. People can go watch it, get into my CRM, and now I've taken a big piece of content and drilled down into something smaller. I could take that and put it on YouTube. There are a million different ways that you can repurpose it, but I'm going to save that part for Bradley. But what I would challenge every one of you to do is to think about something you are an expert on, and then create a webinar around it. It doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 30 minutes. The 2 that I have done in the last 2 years that have been the most successful were, number 1, I've told this story about 1,000 times at this point, so we're going to make it 1,001. But when COVID hit and they announced the PPP, I was laying in bed at 5:15 in the morning watching the early news, and they announced that this was coming out, and I sat straight up. Now, if you don't know anything at all about me, then you don't know that I'm an opportunist. If I hear something that I think has the opportunity to turn into revenue, I'm not even going to spend the time to analyze it. I'm going to jump on it, and if I made a mistake, I will cut bait and be gone. 8 out of 10 decisions I make are bad, but the 2 that are good, because I get in early, make up for all of the bad ones that I make tenfold. And I knew this was something I needed to get involved in, not because it was an opportunity for me to make money. Please understand that. It's the opportunity for me to help my clients and help prospects, because I have a relationship with the CEO of a local community bank that has 12 branches here in Tampa. And I knew his SBA department would have what I needed. I knew that his guys were nimble enough. They already knew all of the rules as fast as they were changing. And I needed to get them in front of the people that were in my CRM. So I announced a webinar, learn about the PPP. I jump on, I introduce myself, tell them who I am. I introduce the panel, and that's it. I was a moderator from that point on. We put it on there. We recorded it. We sent the recording out. We drove it back to our website, and people just kept consuming this information. What happened from it? Well, the bank grew their deposits by over $50 million from that single webinar. The number of people who left their banking relationship to go to my friend's bank was over 50 million in deposits, because my friend's bank was able to do what needed to be done much quicker than all of the big national banks. All of my clients and prospects won because they got valid information quickly from a reputable source that not only could diagnose their issue, but could provide the solution for it. And so they won. I didn't win right away, but over the course of the months following, I won over and over and over again with people who said, hey, I was in your PPP webinar. Oh, by the way, let me take 2 seconds. This also went out to the CRM of the bank. So there were a lot of bank clients on there that were not my prospects or clients that are now in my CRM because they signed up for the webinar. We wrote a lot of business from the webinar. But why I do what I do is not because of that. It's sincerely to be able to help people and to be able to give back.